Jameson as well, for that matter, and you know what you got coming through the pipeline as well.
What does it mean?
Yeah, I mean, what does it say about the program? What does it say?
It means they put in a lot of hard work, and the teams recognized, how we always felt, and I think that's always a goal, right?
Yes.
And I think that it's guys come to Ohio State or go to colleges wanting to accomplish that goal, and we had some guys here that did that.
It's not like this is the first group right here, and all the way through. Is Ohio State's wide receiver year? I mean, people are making that case. Do you make that case?
I think that tag is weird, and I don't know why people always talk about it like that. Like, you guys can talk about that, but that's not something we talk about.
Brian, did you kind of always know that you would be like an excellent recruiter just from your days playing and how you played, and then your personality? Even when I covered you back in the day, you were always an interesting guy to interview. Did you kind of always know that you'd be an excellent recruiter?
What is an excellent recruiter?
Somebody who lands a lot of great wide receivers.
I think that it's more important to be able to identify talent than it is to communicate the information of why we're different than others. I think that recruiting, I don't know, has a bad connotation to it. Like, I don't do anything different than just explain why Ohio State's a great university and how Ohio State can help maximize and reach their goals. Clarity of message is probably pretty important, but I think we pride ourselves more on not necessarily finding the best guys, but finding the right guys.
That ability to identify talent. You guys found Jackson before the world found out about us. They found Chris before the world found out about us. And those guys, I don't want to say late bloomers, but early on in the process when you're identifying talent, are there traits that you see when you're watching guys on film or when you get guys here from band camps in the summer that you like, even if the rest of it isn't necessarily developed yet?
I'd say it's not a perfect science. There's probably some gut. I mean, Mark Pantone and his staff do a phenomenal job of watching a lot of film and having honest evals and not necessarily listening to third parties outside the building. But I would say that again, the type of kid is really, really important. I think that we spend a lot of time on that. As you can tell, and I can't really hit on one certain thing. I think it's kind of an imperfect science.
What's the most important trait for a high school kid to have for you, for what you guys want to do in this offense? Obviously, catch the ball, but is there anything like extra?
No, I wouldn't say there's any most important trait. I think if you look around the building, you see a lot of guys that do a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. So you'd have to tell me what the most important trait is. I mean, I think that the personality and the mental makeup of an athlete, and that's really, really, really important, and probably the most important.
Generally speaking, how is recruiting going in 2023 for you guys, wide receiver? I know you can't be specific, but generally speaking, how is recruiting going?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, nothing's changed. I think we've done a good job identifying the right kind of young men that would be a great addition to our team, and I think they have mutual interest.
Brian, you have a new title, I think, a promotion. Does your job change from an input standpoint, or did you always have?
I don't think it changes a whole lot. Coach Day could probably, hit on that better than I can, but I don't think a whole lot's changed.
I think the release said you'll have a bigger hand in game planning.
Yeah, Coach Day's had a good. Coach Day has always empowered, those around us all. So, I don't know. I guess I would just lean on whatever Coach Day says would probably be the case.
What does the NFL draft mean to the staff of the school and the recruiting capital?
Well, I mean, again, I think it's always a part of the conversation, and I'm definitely not one to shy away from that conversation. I mean, these guys have a small window to try to, accomplish a goal that not many guys can accomplish. I mean, if you go through every year, and it's always fun. I kind of did it with the 2018 class and 2019 class, and I obviously focus on receivers, but there's the first 5 to 10 to 15, 20 receivers, all those guys probably thought going into college, like, oh, hey, I'm going to be a first-round pick. 2 or 3 of those guys actually were. So, you know, a lot of people can talk about it and say what we can do with a player like you. Actually, we just do it. So if you want to, if that's something you're looking for, you know, you can be the next man up. But you know, if you want to, you know, go be the first one somewhere, I mean, that's okay too. But I think we just really pride ourselves on, we know the path, we know the recipe, we know what it takes, and if we tell you you can be one of those guys, you can be one of those guys.
So you may be more proud of developing than picking them.
No, what do you mean?
Once they get here, and we're going to make it whatever you lack, we'll give you.
Oh, it's just a proven course. I mean, it's not like, you know, we don't know what it takes. Like, it's a common goal, and it's a common path that many guys have taken with us.
What are your expectations?
One of the first things he said in his Jets interview was that he feels like this receiver room is an NFL receiver room. What do you think that means downstairs, and what does that mean to you guys?
Yeah, I think that's, man, one, that's awesome, because that was always my goal. I think that, you know, we definitely have more family in our room than an NFL receiving room, but that's the harsh reality of sports is, you know, being able to be in a spot where, you know, peer pressure and competitiveness really maximizes the individual. You know, if I have a couple guys in my room that, you know, really can't get challenged from a peer's perspective, and I tell them to do something, and again, they're all great dudes, but there's just something different in your mind when, you know, there's really no threat of not playing. Well, what's he gonna do? Play this guy? Like, that's still there. It's just part of human nature. But when you have a bunch of guys that really can hold you accountable, not just the coach, I think it really maximizes the athlete's genetic potential.
Brian, what's your expectations and just general thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka this season?
My general thoughts on Marvin and Emeka.
Yeah, and expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're great players. They're great cerebral players. I think that you know they're everything.